Welcome back, guys. Automotive Inquiry. So, went down today and took a look at a 6.4 Hemi Crew short bed truck, not to replace the Godzilla, but to kind of put it in comparison. And I know we talked about getting a Chevy, and I'd love to find one, but I wanted to give Ram the benefit of the doubt. Now, couple quick things. You're going to want to stay tuned to the end of this video because I'm going to give you a little piece of information that Ram is taking away, but I'm going to give it to you. And hopefully that way, if you're in the market for a Ram, that'll help you a ton. But back to it, if I accidentally use Ram, Dodge, Ram, whatever, it's all synonymous. People kind of hit on me pretty hard when it comes to, well, you said Dodge, it's no longer Dodge, it's Ram, it's Stellantis, it's whoever. Listen, man, I grew up in the area of Dodge was Dodge and Ram's Ram, and they were the same thing. So I apologize if that's a trigger for anybody, but I just wanted to clear that up. In addition, if I say motor and engine, in this world today, people synonymize the two. I get it. Motors are electric and engines are gas and combustion and diesel, whatever. Okay, fine. When I say gas pedal, etc., you know what I mean, guys. So you don't have to explain how much engineering background you have, and I'm saying motor and engine wrong. We're just going to use the two synonymous, so we're good with that. All right, went down, found a good price on a crew cab Ram, and wow, usually trucks sell themselves or vehicles sell themselves and the dealership sells the experience. What a lethargic experience it was. Oh my gosh. The guy had no enthusiasm about his product, knew less about the product than I did, which I've had all of them, so I just try and quiz them as we go, but man, I was just really bummed out by it. So, took the truck for a drive, and I'll start with the high points because there's very few. And I'm not banging it. There's a lot of people that love Rams, and I used to love Ram, but I'm going to tell you why I wouldn't buy this now to put it up against it. I'll just go interview my uncle. The Ram just didn't do it for me. Now, the good points. The Ram rode extremely nice. It rode nice for a 3/4 ton. It has a 5-link rear coil suspension in it, so it doesn't have leaf springs. So it has kind of old school like Chevy Tahoe type suspension in the back of it. It's still heavy duty, but that's the way to give a better ride. So I did like the ride. In addition to that, it was very quiet on the inside. You couldn't even hear the motor resonating. Now, when I first started, it was cold driving over to get fuel in it because it was dead empty. Man, that cooling fan was loud as all get out. I mean, it was so loud. I'm not even sure why it was on. It was just driving through the parking lot and getting anything up. Once that went away, the truck was extremely quiet. You couldn't even hear the exhaust note. So whatever they used in the emission system and resonators and stuff, it kept it very quiet. Now, the Godzilla was a lot louder exhaust note-wise inside, but I actually don't mind that because it's not intrusive, but it's just kind of nice to hear a little bit of that rumble. Versus when I was pulling the other day, I didn't hear even my exhaust or my cooling fan kick on. The Rams just ran and ran and ran. Not sure what's up with that. So good ride, quiet cabin. That's about it. So let's talk about the rest of the stuff. So when it came to everything like that, we all know that the Ram it's a smaller truck, period. It's a shorter truck, it's a smaller truck, and everything like that. The bed on the Ram is thinner and shorter in length than Chevy, GM, and Ford. I'm not giving up inches when I go towing, okay? So especially when you're talking about wheelbases and stuff, I'd rather, I mean, again, when I used to have all of these Ram Crews, which crew cabs is the 4 full doors, I just thought that's how it was. Then I got my mega cab, and then my mega cab was like, wow, this thing's gigantic. But then now I put it in perspective, and the mega cab is about what this is as a crew cab. So if you're in the market for a crew cab, you're going to notice that the Ram itself, if you're on crew cab, is smaller than this. So this center cushion's bumped in about 3 to 4 inches. And if you're a small human, no sweat. But once you sit in a true crew cab or the mega cab and you go sit in that, it just feels small. Another thing, there's a raised hump in the middle on the Rams, which the flat floor is nice. If you want to actually haul something back here besides people that needs to stay inside, it was kind of like, okay, that's a big selling point for me. A lot of hard materials, even in the Laramie. So that was kind of crazy. And The cameras were okay, but I mean, all in all, the truck, you know, the Ram 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years, really just set the standard. But now, riding it now, it's almost like they went cheaper, still trying to make it nice. So to me, that Laramie was just not as nice as it would have. Now, another thing that I'm talking about, I'm not giving any inches in the bed. Well, the crew cab on the Ram gives you 40.9 inches of legroom. The rear seating is 40.3. Okay, this Ford's got almost 44 front and almost 43 and it's over 43 and a half in the back. You're talking about 6 inches of room in the cab that you're going to give up by going to a Ram. Now, I don't know about you. I'm 6'2". All my kids are tall except for my one that's still in elementary. He's tall for his age, but he will be tall there. Those inches, I don't think anybody should want to give up. But to each their own, you know what I'm saying? This is all the reason why I just couldn't buy one again, because I didn't like it. Personally, I didn't like it. It's not a ding on it. It's just like you get used to having the comfort. In addition to that, the seats are fairly firm on the leather, but the Bighorn with cloth, the seats are pretty nice. I actually like those. The center console in that was just kind of not very useful, and I wish I could have videotaped this, but I had to get out of there. It was just so lethargic, the whole thing, and I just couldn't do it. In addition, 6.4 Hemi, just not as powerful, period. It's just not there. It's just not. I mean, you're talking, if you go with the Cummins, you get, you know, the standard output, you get 370 horsepower and 850 pounds of torque. Fine, that's great and all. The Hemi's only at 410 and 429. So 410 horsepower, 429 torque. Well, the Godzilla crushes that. So, you know, it's even the GM one's crushing that. So, and the Babyzilla is pretty much more powerful than the Hemi. So, I had somebody the other day also talk, you know, because I was talking about on the Chevy ordering of the 24s where they're getting a bump in power, bumping tow ratings and everything like that. And I was saying that Ram has done something funky with their tow standards. Now, what they have done is, if you bought a Ram a few years ago and you went to their VIN checkup and plugged in your VIN, it gave you payload and tow ratings specific to your VIN. Well, a lot of people went and bought their trucks based on those standards. Well, what Ram did, for whatever reason, they came in and cut people's tow ratings. And so if you go back and you remember which tow rating was, plug your VIN in, and I guarantee your tow rating changed, not for the better, and potentially even your payload dropped. And matter of fact, Ram has actually removed their VIN check from their website. You can't even find it. You can go to some forums and use some embedded content, and it'll bring you up to a 16, 17, but it's not going to read anything newer than that. So that's kind of funky. And for whatever reason they lowered those tow ratings, I don't know. But one thing's for sure is the little one that I drove today with the Hemi, the payload on it was 2966 and the tow rating on it was only 14,580. Okay, that's not great. You know, the payload's okay, but funny enough, when I actually ran this same truck a few months ago before Ram did this cut on their taking the thing off the website, this same truck was at 17.9 tow. So for whatever reason, we lost 3,000 pounds of towing, and a lot of other people, TFL and everybody else like that, they lost 3,000 pounds worth of towing on their Cummins diesel. So that's pretty darn big, and I'm not sure why they did it. Now, that being aside, am I saying that the Ram's not a good truck or anything like that? Not at all. I'm not saying that at all. I reset the fuel economy. It didn't get a very good 20-mile loop on it. Very good fuel economy. Now, that's not enough for longevity, but the day I test drove this truck specifically, I was getting 15.5 in town, and it's basically mirrored that since I got it. The Ram was at 10.5, not good enough for me. So if I'm going to get a shorter bed, less towability, less horsepower, smaller cab, then I don't know what I'm gaining. The new 24 mirrors that came out, this piece of the glass isn't even more than 1.5 inches bigger than the past one, and now your convex down here is actually cut this much smaller because they're adding a little spotter lamp in there. So similar to the Chevy puts a really nice spotter lamp, but doesn't cut out their mirror. Yeah, Ram cut out a big old chunk, and the mirrors to me are not that good looking, but yeah. So we won't be buying a Ram to put against this as a second truck that I was going to buy. I'm going to stick towards the Chevy, because even the Chevy with the 6-speed in it is better than the Ram with the 8-speed in it, at least like payload and towing wise. And frankly, I like the truck better. I mean, I thought that the gold standard was kind of Ram truck interiors. A few years ago when I had my 16 Ram, I thought it was fantastic at a Laramie level, and now it actually feels substantially cheaper at the same trim level in the new truck. So I don't know if they changed materials, if they changed whatnot. Now I was going to look at a Cummins diesel. However, Cummins with Ram has now put another stop sale. So they had a stop sale on the dipstick issue, which is the transmission overheating and spraying the fluid out the dipstick area and causing an engine compartment fire. That has since been rectified, so they can sell those trucks if they have the parts. However, Ram has now put anything that's not made after February of this year on a stop sale because the grid heater. So Rams don't use glow plugs, which is a nice feature. They're like a semi. They use a grid heater. However, there is a relay or something in there that now has the potential for fire. So now everything older than February, which that's a lot of them because those same trucks had the dipstick correction issue on the 68 RFE, now we're on stop sale again for the grid heater relay. Now, again, just like everybody's saying that the Godzilla is having lifter problems and stuff like that, that's something that that Nahitsa has put a stop sale on, and now they're gonna have to get it fixed because of the fire issue. But I mean, this is again the engine hasn't changed much in several years, so they've tweaked some things here and there. But why now this is becoming an issue, I have no idea. So we also weren't gonna look at the diesel, but again, after having the gas, I don't see myself going that direction. And if I was gonna go diesel again, it'd be a Power Stroke or a Duramax. So that being said, now for the last little tidbit, I will supply the link. I took some heavy duty searching and finding last night, and I finally found it for the Ram VIN lookup. It's going to be down in the description. But so if you ran that a few years ago when you bought your Ram, go back and try it again. I will almost guarantee you've lost tow rating. And if that's the case, I could probably see some type of, legal action that people might want to take towards that for, I don't know, it's almost like false representation of what your vehicle can do. Even though, it'll probably still be able to do it. By law now, you would be potentially overloaded. So look down at the bottom of that description. Please do subscribe. We're going to get to doing an oil change video on this. We're also got the headlights that came in, the LED headlamp bulbs that we're going to swap out. So we're going to do that and kind of show you the contrast and difference. I did do some other videos over the last few days. So please do click the notification bell after you subscribe so you can get all the content. But I'm sorry, Ram guys. I know you guys wanted me to do it, and I've had so many Rams, and I've loved Rams since I was a kid. But that time has passed now, and I stopped by Chevy on the way home and was hoping to see if they had any gassers. And to be honest with you, the Chevy interior feels better. The Ford interior feels way better than the Ram at the same level, Bighorn XLT. And even at like a Laramie, an LT that's loaded, or an LTZ, the Chevy and the Jimmy now wins. So, and especially with that 24 coming out, wow, it's going to be fantastic. But all right, guys, we're going to see you on the next one, and look at that link down below.